I'm the Open Space Committee meeting at April 22nd at 7:10 PM. Okay, we're being videoed. All right, we just looked over the minutes from the February 11th and March 18th meetings, and have a few changes. From the February 11th meeting, number 4, we're going to delete the principal of the before superintendent. And for the March 18th meeting, we're going to change the $500 to $100 for what we get for a year's budget. So, okay, all in favor of the...
Spelling on his name?
Oh, Steve Zisk, yeah, sorry. Yep, drop the E on Steve Zisk on number 10. Otherwise, they're fine. All in favor of...
I think you have to take them separately.
Okay, yeah. All in favor of...
No, you need to entertain a motion to accept the minutes of
I know.
February 11th, 2019.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes from February 11th, 2019. All in favor?
As corrected.
As corrected.
Yes.
Who made the motion?
So moved. I need a second. Now all those in favor.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I abstain, I was not present.
Okay. All right. Now, I'd like to move, what was that again?
Maybe the next one. The
I'd
March
like to entertain a
18th.
motion.
Yeah, I'd like to entertain a motion to accept the minutes from March 18th as we changed them, number 9, from 500 to 100.
And number 10 is
Number 10. And number 10, Steve Zisk with the E.
Moved.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Minutes are accepted as is. All right. Next, we have the questionnaire, the questions of the questionnaire that Becky worked on that,
Revamped them.
right.
The last meeting, the order and putting the asterisks in. I don't know if anyone researched about the tax
Oh, I did not.
implications.
But Gordon, this is a draft survey because we thought it would be great to find out from the townspeople what their priorities were, since the last time we did this was
Oh, here's a copy.
10,
5 years
15 years
ago.
ago. 10 years ago?
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking at here. So what we were hoping to have someone from the rec commission join us.
I think Tim Bonin or someone, but, and I wanted to sort of,
Maybe it might be easier to email it to them?
yeah. Didn't they want it? They wanted it before, and I sent him your email, and he never, I don't know, I thought it just went through, but, yeah,
Don't know.
no.
Well, I
If
can
you
send
didn't
the
forward it
corrected.
to them, then, yeah. All right. Send to rec. Yeah, I was hoping they would be here today too, because we could talk about the trails at the school and the extra things from the highway department.
When is their next meeting, do we know?
Yeah, they don't seem to really book them very well, but, yeah, maybe we could attend their meeting.
So someone's going to email the questionnaire to them. Who's going to?
So Becky, you should do that because you know you have it online, or you could send it to me.
See, the commission.
Yeah. But, I mean, I have their email address, so I'll send you their
Okay.
email address. Yeah, that's too bad. But there's no grants happening right now anyway, so. But they do come up quickly.
Oh,
we should at least be able to have a conversation.
Now, these things, we would like to be able to put them on a phone or whatever to be able to take this survey or, answer these questions on the questionnaire, rather, in a easy way for people to do it, right?
Yeah, paper or online,
Mhm.
but we have to get it.
Advert-
First step is everyone's happy with it.
Mhm.
Exactly, then we can transfer it to an electronic survey.
Mhm.
So are we gonna do like only electronic? So I guess I'd wonder about if there's gonna be duplicate surveys if they are on paper copies around town and online, because people might think it's something different.
I mean, if they did one, they'd know that they were gonna duplicate that,
Okay.
hopefully.
So maybe,
And
should we have a
if
note?
someone
like,
puts
please
in
look at
2
yours?
or, 10 people put in 2, it's not gonna make a big difference in,
Okay.
but I wouldn't worry that much about it.
They're that ambitious, they want to fill it out twice.
Yeah, 10 times more.
We need to put them to work.
Yeah. We need their, did you leave the zip code thing on here to see whether they're out of town? Yeah.
Didn't they?
It's supposed to be
Yeah,
nice.
it's a zip code.
Okay, yep.
I just need a space in between that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Looks good.
Yep. It certainly covers a lot of different things.
So when it says like, what is your age, spouse, and children, are they supposed to put like a number, like in your household, like, you have 2, 45 to 64, and like 2 under 18 or something? Like, what is your age, spouse, and children?
Maybe better said, how many people in your household are in each
What?
each category.
Age and number of people in household. What do you-
And then the same thing, how many males, how many females in your household.
Yeah.
So considering that our next meeting
Right.
is May
So indicate
20th,
number and household, and I guess like kind of same thing.
is my feeling that if we can't get have a conversation with the rec commission before then, that come our next meeting, we
Yeah.
make any final changes and proceed, because people are going to be going away on vacations and stuff. Well, they can
Right.
get it on their phones, but
They've had time and, yeah.
yeah, we've kicked this around.
We've shown interest and they haven't, so,
We tried.
yeah.
Okay.
No, this looks great. So, yeah, we'll get it to them and when their next meeting, get that and see what's going on. Okay. All right, and next is number 4, the school property trails. Mark, I talked to Mark Mungem the other day, and you did recently too. And, yeah.
Mark.
He is the head of, you were there. He is the head of the cross-country trails guy at the school. So he's the one that submitted all the information the last time to put trails. We have a big school property, and there are cross-country trails throughout it. There's hunting, people hunt over there, And so we wanted to put some more trails on it. Becky's very much into horses, and it's not far from the Southern New England Trunkline Trail that you could just go over there. And actually, there's another piece of property at 26 Martin Road that's,
yep.
but I looked at that's tax possession. Someone took it a couple of years, they took it for, they didn't pay the taxes. There's nothing there at 26, and it just doesn't look like there's much way through there, I think the other one is a much better option, but when talking to Mark Mungem, he was questioning why we would want, more than just one track over there. He thought that just enough for a runner to go across. There's a bridge from a main road to get to the property, and there's a pond on one side, and it's washed out and it's a brook. So there's a ladder with a couple of pieces of plywood on it that's kind of sketchy. And, you know, kids come from, if they walk to school, they can get in that way or whatever. We'd like to improve upon that so that we could make it a trail, have horses
So where
cross
is
it.
this?
And,
At the school, the high school.
The high school.
yeah, where most of the schools are together, yeah.
But Leslie Bro, Mark's wife, also basically does a lot with the track, not so much the track, but the cross-country team at the high school. So
Yeah.
that's why they're both involved.
Right, and he did go to all the, you know, he had to bring it to the Conservation Commission and all that
That
sort
would
of
be the same
stuff.
thing we would have to do.
Right, right. So, yeah. And, you know, that when we checked to see who really was in charge of the school property, the town administrator said that the school committee exercises control over the property that the schools are on, so long as they are operated as schools.
At schools, okay.
And Mark says, you know, he had to get a notice of intent with his plan to the Conservation Commission, and they were using backhoes and, you know, all that. He expressed a concern about horses and erosion, but thought that the single-lane bridge was enough. But yet, if it's the only back access to the school and it is, you know, supposedly an emergency entrance or whatever, I think it would be good to push it to get them to build a little bridge there. That would be good for a vehicle as well, maybe.
How can that place
Talking
even
about
be?
the one over Wellman?
Like, how can that even be an emergency access road if there's no bridge? Like, the fire
There's a
truck
ladder,
can't get
yeah,
there.
with
But the
a ladder.
fire truck can't go over that.
Right. So it's lapsed, you know.
Yeah.
And so I guess it would be worth contacting the town to find out whether they would want to get that back up as just a single lane bridge or a vehicle
So
bridge.
who would answer that? The fire chief, the police department, who would actually
Yeah.
answer that? Who would? Who would I call?
I guess,
Town engineer?
yeah, or, you know, the highway, you know. I guess I'd just put it to the town administrator, and it's up to him to figure out who. I don't know, what do you think?
Well, this sounds like it's a matter of, is this maintenance or is this expansion? Because if it was just a bridge for people to cross, then I don't know what their requirements are on the school side.
Right.
So maybe, I don't know, maybe talk to the superintendent again?
It sounds like he didn't really know much, right? About, like, this background stuff.
Was there ever a bridge over that brook right there?
And who would know about the emergency, you know?
I guess that would be the fire chief.
Oh.
But I think, you know, if you're talking about building a bridge that can support a fire truck,
That's a whole different ballgame.
then that's a lot of money.
Right.
So I'm not sure that's,
So we should just push for a single lane. It's not our
Well-
issue to try to figure out emergency access.
Yeah.
no, but what do we need, or what are we looking to do to make it so that it's usable for
What we want.
people who enjoy being outside?
Mm-hmm.
You would want something like 5 or 6 foot wide to get across there.
Yeah.
So,
Be wide enough for like an ATV or something or other like that, or a Kubota rescue type thing if they had. I don't know if the fire
Yeah,
department's got
small
that.
scale, yeah.
so for people walking or maybe riding a mountain bike could get across.
Mhm.
Or
And if
horse.
needed, yeah, and if needed a rescue ATV type of thing. I don't think we should expand it beyond that, because that's just a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
purview.
Just invite people to abuse it.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So talk to the fire chief, you think?
No, because we don't want to,
Right, make a big thing of it.
because the school, Mark got approval to use that, or this would be new?
This
That
would be,
cross.
it's not in their cross-country trails, because this in pink is what's existing out there, so this whole section right here is part of their cross-country trail right here.
Yep.
So this in green goes out to Martin, this is where the bridge would need to go, so that's not even in use right now.
Okay.
It's a right-of-way that's not even,
So, but we would just want to make it accessible to hikers and
Right.
riders and
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
yes.
that's it.
The
So
goal
that's-
would be less attainable if we wanted to really make it like so a large vehicle could go over it. It'd probably be very expensive to build.
So if you go back to what the administrator told us, that as long as the school is operated as a school, they have jurisdiction over the property, then adding that piece would have to go back to the school,
Yeah.
I would think.
Well, I would assume, once we get our whole proposal together, it would have to be submitted to them. This is what we want to do,
Mm-hmm.
yea or nay.
Yeah.
And I think it would have to be passed off maybe to the selectmen or whoever else in town too.
Or the conservation or whatever, but I think that's where we go back to first.
So start with the
School.
school and then
Mhm.
conservation. Mm.
So I figure the action plan would be, I need to figure out where boundaries are.
Mhm.
And if the town, it doesn't matter if it's on the deed, whoever did it, if you can't find where those boundaries are out there right
Right.
now, you need someone to get them, to
Yeah.
mark them.
Survey, yeah.
So does the town have somebody in-house that does surveying? I don't know.
I don't think they do.
I don't think so.
If they don't, then that means that's another expense that has to be incorporated into this whole project.
Yep.
So basically, if we're lucky, then the bounds are marked from some previous survey, and then we're all set.
Some of it we did know is marked on, by Martin Road and coming down. Remember when we walked, we saw that pink flagging?
Mhm.
So that is currently marked right now.
From another
But
time.
that's one boundary.
Right.
Off of Jeremy's property, he has a pretty good idea where it is, so I can walk that with him. That just leaves everything up in this corner quadrant. And I want it, because I think we've got one side of this marked. Because we saw it marked coming down this way and saw it going down this way up here, so.
And then, yeah, maybe mark our trails that we propose
Yeah, lay out the trails,
and then
research the
have
bridge.
them walk them and see what they think.
Mhm.
So, just to repeat, Becky, what you just said, the first step would be to mark the bounds, or know where the bounds are.
Correct.
So then lay out the trails,
Yep.
and that could be just remarking the existing trails as well, like the cross-country road.
That's-
They're pretty obvious.
Yeah, they're extremely obvious.
But, I mean, wherever, and then mark the additional trails.
Correct.
Okay.
Mark where those would have to go. And then start researching bridge options.
I wonder if we should start with the bridge, because if for some reason it turns out the bridge might be a lot of money, then we might have to rethink the feasibility of the
That
project.
bridge is gonna be a lot of money.
So how are we going to get the
How
money?
much do you think the bridge is gonna be?
This is why we get everything together, an estimate, and then we start going after grants.
Oh, okay. Oh, so we want to know the whole cost and then.
How long a bridge would this be?
15 feet or something?
Oh, it's much longer than that across
Yeah.
there. I'm betting that's
What brook is that?
it's
Well-
at least 30 feet across there, if not longer.
We
Yeah.
figured it wasn't.
It's pretty well washed out on the sides. I had
Mhm.
I
That's
had
the thing, it's
pictures of it, but I
eroding
don't
and
have
everything.
them with me in my folder anymore.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Somebody had them.
eroded big time on
Yeah.
the banks. It's a pond and then it
Yeah,
feeds out,
I've seen
yeah.
on the map.
Yeah, I don't have the pictures of the.
So maybe it would be good to ask Steve Zisk if there are some erosion control measures that
Yeah.
would help.
Anything that you do out there to put any type of bridge, you're going to have, there's huge big boulders that
Yeah, I
have
saw
just
those.
kind of washed. Those should be put back along the bankings to stabilize them anyways. And this would all have to be in conjunction with the Conservation Commission too. I mean,
Yeah.
I have my ideas, they may think differently.
Yeah,
If there's a pond, then there must be wetlands,
Oh, yeah.
so
Yeah, if we're going over a
that will
brook.
concern them.
Yeah, they have to be involved in this one way or the other.
Mhm.
So. All right.
so what do you need help with?
Right now, it's gonna be, well,
Because it's also leafing out, which
yeah,
makes it,
we can't lay out the trails until I know where the boundaries are. And depending on,
Contact the
do we wanna
landowners.
pay with this up front, get an estimate for all this stuff? Then this is gonna be something that's probably gonna have to be done next year. This will be spending the year pulling together all this information. What's the estimate's gonna be for doing the boundaries, laying out the trails that would be matched with volunteer time. Conservation Commission getting together with them to find out what
Yeah, look
what
at
is
the trails
involved
where
with
we have,
that.
yeah.
what the cost of
Yeah.
that's gonna be, and then estimates to actually get the bridge. If you, to buy a prefab bridge,
right.
and get that installed. If you want maps made up, signage done,
So we should sketch out a work plan or a time
that's
frame.
my action plan.
Yeah. But maybe with a guesstimate of how much time it might take to get there, so we have a picture of what the next year looks like? Or maybe at what point we can make a decision?
Mhm.
We had several bridges built in our properties and around, done by Boy Scouts,
Yeah, we just had one done by Eagle Scout.
Eagle Scouts, yeah. It's an Eagle Scout project.
Yeah,
Some pretty major bridges, too.
Yeah,
I mean, just something to think about.
Mm-hmm.
they had mentioned, this is a pretty
Mhm.
big,
But this is what they're looking for, you know,
Crossing.
to pull together a project like that and
Do they
show
do-
leadership.
Do they do the erosion control too?
Probably
They-
not, but-
they'd probably have to work with the Conservation Commission and like
Yeah.
Massimo did
this is
have to.
gonna involve some big equipment.
Yeah.
I mean, this is,
Yeah.
big equipment.
Yeah. And like I said before, maybe the beams that they got for North Street are still available and they could be come into use or whatever. Who knows what the highway department has for extra stuff laying around that could be used. They
Highway
rebuilt the
department.
one on Cedar Street,
Mm-hmm.
and that came out great, a bridge that was kind of falling apart.
Oh,
and-
right off Route 16 where that big sign was.
By the sawmill area.
Yeah.
Oh, I think they just got money to replace that, so maybe we could, I don't know if the span's long enough though, but we could,
Oh,
You need to
take
get
the
out there
old
to actually
bridge.
measure that.
yeah, we
To
could.
replace
haven't
the
done
one
that
they
yet.
just replaced?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
That doesn't make sense. We'll take the whole one then, huh?
No, because it had some sort of, I don't know, that's what I thought I read.
All right.
But apart from the school property, how many parcels would need to be surveyed?
Well, I mean, you mean that we could just see if
I know.
the neighboring people have their surveys
Well,
and
we
have
know
their
where
corners
her
marked.
boundary is, because she's got this all marked, that's Zito's property. This is a guess from here to here, but we're not that close down there to worry about it.
And that's where the,
And this is where the right-of-way is, so,
this is where the
so we
the little
know,
signs, the
yeah,
little
we
tags
saw
in
the
tree.
boundaries here.
Yeah.
I don't know if it went all the way to this corner, but I definitely need to know this boundary It would be nice to know that boundary, and then all up in,
Yeah, see,
all
this
up
is
to
the
here.
town right
Yep.
away from you. Yeah,
So those should be available here.
school,
I'm not, I don't know who would have the plans, but they should be available here.
They may have the
In
plans,
town.
but that's still not gonna matter if you've got the plans and you don't know where the,
No, but because it was a
Because-
public project, they should have the survey somewhere.
right, but then as far as figuring out where the survey is on the trees, or maybe there's posts or something that they, metal bars that they put
yeah.
in to
Who-
mark it,
Who
but,
knows where, yeah. We need someone to find them.
but if we have an estimate, you know, of where they are, then, you know, we'd definitely keep the trails within those lines.
I'm just, that was off the top of my head because that school, that property was acquired not that long ago.
Mhm.
So maybe community development would know where those surveys are.
Abutters. There's not that many abutters.
Okay.
No, like I said, this is Jeremy's property, and he said he has a pretty good idea where it is, so I'm not worried about that.
Okay. The next one's who?
And this is, both of these are Zito's. This we know really
Okay.
well, and
Yep.
if I get to Jeremy's over here in the corner,
Yep.
this is straight across, so
Yep.
this side I'm not that worried about.
Yep.
It's this side up here I need to know.
We didn't really, did we have that many? It was just this little loop, really, on that side.
Yeah, but wasn't there was some other trail going off, we didn't, and we didn't know where we were up there. So
Right.
this is where I need to know
Right.
where we can play up here.
It would be good to come in from this 26
Mm-hmm.
to see.
Yes, to go in from there, because that abuts up in there too. And it's there, we might as well make use of it.
Mhm. Just at least see where it is, now that
Mhm.
it's tick season. Yeah. All right, well, I can call community development and see if they have surveys and whatnot. I'll do that.
Ask them who, well, surveys in somebody that knows where to
Right, have,
find the points on the ground
right,
out there.
survey, yep.
Yeah. The meets and bounds.
Visible. All right. Well, that's a place to start. You know, we can be in touch on the internet too, as far as motivating
We can make a copy of this and I can show you where which bounds that I definitely need.
and, this one might be bigger.
Yeah, but I can blow this
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
It's nice and colored.
You got a color printer?
Yes, I do.
Ooh. All right. Okay, all set with that one then. We'll plug along as we can. All right. Number 5 is the Southeast Main Street Conservation Area, which, you know, I did ask Steve Zisk about it, if it had been surveyed or whatever, and I guess he said protocol. That's all I wrote down, so I don't know what that meant. I'll ask him again. Yeah.
Which property were we talking about again?
Southeast Main Street Conservation Area that is just sitting there. So it would be nice to be able to cut a trail through there.
Is that the big one down here?
There.
Right here. Oh, here it is. Yep. That's this one.
Which one? Not the Makowski Drive one.
No, the one, this
I think that's a lot of wetlands,
Pine
isn't it?
Street and Vine.
Isn't that really wet?
I don't know. Never been in there.
But we can look at it. I don't have a topo map. All right. We
I
better,
do have one at
There are some
home.
existing trails out there. Because,
My friend rides it.
Catherine, yeah, she walks her dogs out there.
Uh-huh.
And I think this owner right here had this surveyed, so that right away is
Yep.
delineated. But I think Catherine said something about they were gonna walk with somebody out there. I think the town doesn't know what to do right now with people wanting to volunteer on trails. Because she had gone to, I don't know, was it Conservation Commission meeting? I don't remember, but she had gone to a meeting to ask if they could just go out there with hand tools and just trim back and clean up the existing trails. And then somebody contacted her and said they didn't even want her doing that because they weren't sure. I think that because the town doesn't have any protocols of what to do with anyone doing trail work. And I'm not sure if there's liability issues that they're worried about. Someone's thinking about that, so.
Well, that sounds like a good thing that we might propose.
To make trails there.
Well, no, but if we have existing trails and people want to work on them, you know, here's what you have to do.
Develop a protocol for it.
Right,
Yeah, and the town, I don't think the town's got protocols, so they don't know what to do about it right now.
right, because it's sort of like nobody owns it, so everybody owns it, so you don't want people going in and just deciding what to do whatever they want to do, because certain things have to be maintained. But we do want to encourage people to help maintain them.
Yep, to become stewards.
I'll do a draft of something that we could maybe propose to the boards, and then if everybody's in agreement, we could then make sure that's posted somewhere online or something that says, this is the procedure you have to follow. And one of those things could be to come to the Open Space Committee or come to the Conservation Commission and say,
Show what their plan, their ideas.
this is our plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll ask Catherine what meeting she attended to ask about it, because I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, because you'd also want to know the time frame. Like if somebody wanted to mow a field, we don't want them mowing when birds are nesting or something, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and protocol for powered equipment.
Yep.
Because I know for me to use a chainsaw now in the Douglas State Forest, I actually had to get certified. And I have to wear the personal
Yeah.
protection equipment.
But that's something we can
Yeah,
offer and then
That's a good idea, yeah.
see if that helps people out.
Even organize, you know, a weekend to go down there and blaze a trail or whatever, if we have it marked out or whatever, too.
Well, if they wanted to create a trail, they would have to make a proposal of where would it, you know, if there's,
And
If
if
there's-
there's something existing now.
Is conservation?
no, the next
Couple
room.
doors.
Two doors, next room's a bathroom. No, if there was a protected species or something, if it's boggy or all of those other good things, you don't want people ruining that or damaging plants, so it's better that they come up with a plan, or we could also gradually come up with maintenance plans that we can then ask for volunteers to come help with. So it could work both ways.
And maybe volunteers to maybe GPS what is existing out there, so start getting it mapped.
Yep.
No, the school was excited about having possibilities of people to, you know, the National Honor Society. I know kids are looking for projects this summer or whatever, but in the future. So, all right. Did you make it to a conference? Concert.
Oh, the Greater Worcester Massachusetts Land Trust Conference. We both attended, and so they have a lot of workshops and everything. There were over 500 people there. And Gina McCarthy, the former administrator of the EPA, was there. She gave a rousing speech.
Yep.
And there were also people who are vendors who do things like baseline analyses, so that if somebody was donating a parcel to the town or to a trust and there was a conservation restriction on it, a baseline basically documents everything that's there at that point in time. So you could then go back and do a comparison over the years. So there were technical vendors. I attended 3 workshops, and I'm trying to remember exactly. Oh, at the end, one was with conservation restrictions, which we don't really do anything with here, but the state has gotten a really good model down to be able to help people put permanent restrictions on their property. Which,
I attended one, professor of Worcester Polytech is researching bees, native bees,
oh, Professor,
20, 30,
Hager.
50
Yeah.
different varieties of native bees, and looking at where they are. And he's got an app called Beecology. And if you're out looking at bees and you take a picture and put it into this app so that he can start tracking where these bees are, and really seriously looking at our future, because without those, and I'm not talking honeybees, I'm talking about native bees.
bumblebees and,
Yeah.
yeah,
Everything.
Leaf cutters and,
pollinators.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
that was fascinating. And then another one I watched was just about native plants and how to protect them, how to see them in the wild. And I'm really on board with native plants.
Oh, yeah.
We've been in this house for a year, and I've already ripped out 12 Japanese barberries, which are invasive and nasty, nasty plants, and put in winterberries and sweet pepper bush. And we've got a hillside that was all Oriental bittersweet, and
Yeah.
ripped all that out. And
Come to my house
this
now.
week we're planting all wildflowers on that hill. It's going to be pretty, yeah. But anyways, yes, the conference was excellent, and that woman was roused. She was, don't take this lying down, stand up.
That's right.
This is our life.
Yeah.
And that goes quick. When it goes, it starts snowballing. Yeah, good. All right. And, okay, next one is recording agenda and minutes. I didn't even read what you emailed me like a month ago. I'm just so, I freak out at the computer. It's just like, okay, I don't want to get involved in this at this moment, but
Oh, I think she just wants us to like post things to the online forum. So I guess like all the commissions have like, you know, like what a forum is, right? Like people can read things and comment on it. So they just want all the committees to post their agendas and minutes.
should we read their comments and stuff?
Oh, I don't know if people are ever gonna comment on our stuff,
one
but they
reads
could
it.
if they wanted to. So I posted like all the minutes that I have that were approved at that point.
I have the agendas from like the last 10 years, probably.
So yeah, so you would have to post those,
Okay.
or I guess you could send them to me. But I don't know how fast I could post 10 years. Of
Yeah, no, I
agendas.
need to figure that out. I think.
Well, or maybe just at least post the agendas that
Oh, for the
That
minutes.
go with the
of-
go with the
minutes,
minutes,
yeah.
so you have a,
Yeah, I mean, should we
they
chase
go to the same
down the
place?
old ones or?
Don't start, make 2019
Yeah. I wouldn't
Okay,
worry
so don't
about
bother with previous.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's water
it. From
under
what
the
I
bridge.
remember from looking at those forums, most people aren't
Yeah.
posting, so. If
Okay.
we start now and go ahead, I think we'll be in good shape.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll remember to always post those.
So you'll post the minutes too?
Yeah, and I already posted, I think,
For the agendas. So there's
Oh, you want me to
there's
do
a
the
space for agendas and a space for minutes.
You want to put the agendas in?
yeah, I mean, I
It
guess
can
if
always
you
be
could,
done.
yeah, so if we're gonna start, what do I have, like probably
I can send you.
well,
The
for
last-
20,
6 months or whatever?
for 2019, we have
Yeah.
4 months,
Uh-huh.
and you have the agendas, because I think Sue have sent them around. No?
Oh,
I can send
okay.
you
You just-
them
yeah.
again if you want.
Okay, yeah, so I can do the agendas.
Sounds good to me.
Sure.
All right. Any new business? No. So we'll work on
I don't
this
think I have anything.
school stuff and the questionnaire stuff, and Lisa will try to get up a idea for
I'll draft something.
conservation areas. Yeah.
That way we
how to
can-
proceed
Right.
and wanting to, you know, just like what Massimo had to go through would be a good start.
Mhm.
But, all right. Let's see what else.
Do you have our next meeting is Monday, May 20th?
Yep, right here. Is that okay with everybody so far? All right. Let's see my cheat sheet. All right, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Second.
Okay. Then, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. At 10 minutes of 8, we're ending the Open Space Committee meeting.